Hi everyone, today we are starting on our irrigation system for the garden. We're going to be using 2 of those IBC containers. They haven't been washed yet and they're full of honey. Well, there is a bit of a residual honey in the bottom that we need to wash out. But before we get on to washing them or even doing installation, there's a little bit of legwork to do in the cellar. And everything is going to have to start from this part here, which is a non-return valve. And we need to bridge this one between the mains water and our pump that feeds the house. With the weather getting warmer and we're spending more time outside, we find ourselves needing an outside tap every day. So we did a bit of research and we're ready to make a start on our system. I don't know how much we're going to be able to film in here because it's quite dark, but essentially we just need to bridge these 2 pipes and that's going to bypass the pump. So whenever we have water mains pressure, which is like, I think at the moment it's 2 hours a day, we actually bypass the pump and we get it throughout the house. And when we don't have the pressure, then we run the pump. Just saves the pump running too often. And the other thing is then out of this tap here, we can just run another pipe going to outside tap. And again, whenever we have water between 5 and 7 p.m., we can use the water mains and that's gonna save the pump running too often. Because initially I was thinking to run 2 taps on outside. Throughout the day when we don't have water, we can use the pump, and in the 2 hours that we have water, we can use the mains. But doing this is gonna allow us to have only 1 tap outside and make the best of both worlds. It's literally just gluing these T-piece here, putting the non-return valve here and another T-piece there. And that is just to make sure that whenever we don't have water coming through the mains, the pump doesn't circle and pump water back into the mains. We don't want to do that. So this is the lowest stopcock that we have, and John has just gone to open a sink tap just so that it's not creating a vacuum. So I'm going to drain the rest of the water here and we are ready to go. Okay. Just turn the mains off as well. Not that we have any water at the minute, but in case it takes longer than I think it will, which is normally the case.
Yeah. 1,
2, 3. Hold the machine. Now the margin for error here is super low, 2 centimeters. It's not going to go all the way in. I'll trim it just because I want these as close as possible. So let it set, and I'm going to make it shorter, to be honest. On both. Just hold it for a second and let it go to set. I just hope for no leaks, because it's been working for 6 months without leaks, and I have a feeling that a little modification to make it better is going to give us a lot of grief. But hopefully I'm wrong. So we have this. The only thing we need to do is add this T-piece and then join it to the pipes. So you can now see, hopefully in the dark, what's going to happen. T-piece there, that T-piece there, and I'm going to do this one last because I feel like this has a little bit of give. So do this one whilst that's setting, glue this one, and then final piece of the puzzle. This one is going to be easy breezy lemon squeezy. This one is going to be difficult lemon difficult.
Like this.
Yeah, that one there.
No.
For 4 seconds. Don't. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, I'll leave that to set. Hopefully we did it. Then I'll do that one. So I'm gonna move to that one. Well, I don't know if this was really tricky, to be fair. I don't know if we did it right. We're gonna find out when the water comes in, I guess. Or in a minute, actually, I can pressurize it with the pump. When we switch the pump on, that would pressurize, and if there's a leak, that was the tricky one. That's where the leak would be. Nerve air racking. So this is closed at the minute. If I open it, water should not flow the opposite way. Water started dripping. from the mains. Well, we've had water for about an hour now, water mains that is, and we have no leaks. But we're going to continue the garden tap at another day because there's a bit more caveat to it as usual, which we're going to get into at a later stage. But for now, it's a nice cool evening, so we're going to do some tasks around the garden that we couldn't do earlier in the day because it was too hot. You can probably hear my mum's trimming the grass next door. I did ours a couple of days ago, and we didn't pick it, we just let the grass dry on the lawn, and now we're just going to rake it into a pile, collect it. It's dry enough that it's not going to replant itself, and we're going to try and mulch our potatoes or tomatoes. We're going to see which one. I think she's taunting me.
Good morning. Morning chores have been done. Plants are watered, chickens are clean, and I gave them a little snack. I'm still trying to make them love me. I've placed myself under the shade of this beautiful tree. I actually don't know what this one is, but I like it. And it's really good for giving some shade over the patio. So these are the shelves that we found just around the house, lying around the property. And they're not in the best state, but I'm just gonna literally chuck some paint on them. And they're gonna live outside and maybe have some like plant pots on them with some like dangly things. If anyone's got any ideas for dangly plants, I'd very much appreciate it. And excuse my manly cold voice, hay fever has hit me hard in the past couple of days. Ew.
Stone beds are coming along nicely. I've done one high over here by the house, and then I'm going to terrace it with this one slightly lower, and then comes to the lowest point here with one of those like pockets. And that's just a clay pot we found in the garden. I might just kind of leave it poking out, and then we're just going to probably curve it and stop here just by this lilac that we planted. So maybe just a couple of more wheelbarrows of stones, and then we're just gonna go get some many buckets of the dirt in the barn.
What are you doing? I'll leave those to dry until I can do a second coat. But I thought whilst I'm in the painting mode, we've still got loads of lime from when we were painting the trees, and I might as well paint the inside of the chicken coop whilst we're at it, because I've done the render and it's grey and ugly, and I don't want it to be ugly. Where you're hiding, guys? They're still very sus of me. They're not sure yet. Chicky, 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 chickies. Chicky, chicky, chickies. I know. Chicky, 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 chickies. Lovingly rendered wall. It's been pegged.
that's done. Super happy how it turns out. We just need to fill it with some soil from the barn. The barn was tidy, but once again, it got messy real quick. Made an interesting discovery actually. The floor here is quite high, but as I'm digging, I've come across this lip that people built with stones. So I'm just gonna carry on and I'm just gonna dig along there and see, try to reveal it. I wonder if that's the actual floor of the barn here, and that bit was separate. But if you look at the earth, the level there, the ground is actually lower and this is quite high.
Well, I've painted literally everything in sight, and then I asked Dani if he wanted some help, and we're gonna carry buckets across from the barn. But I thought, that sounds kind of hard, kind of boring. So I'm gonna show you everything I've been doing in the garden. Whilst I was on the way to the back of the garden to start the tour, Dani's mum came over and they are pulling out all their brassicas today to get stuff into their polytunnel. And they said, do we want some for our chickens and for our compost? And I said, absolutely, yes, please. What I didn't realise is that they've given us absolute monsters. As big as me. So I've chucked a whole one of these in the chicken coop for them to munch on. Some of them are covered in aphids, which is going to be a great high protein snack for them. And I think they're warming to me now that they know I bring the best snacks. They've all absolutely jumped on it and they love it. And I need to shred it all up for the compost. I'll keep another one for the chickens if they love it so much. But let's start that tour of the garden. The raspberry trellis that we took probably way too long to build. And Dani ended up taking out the wooden supports in the middle because they just weren't doing anything and they look kind of ugly anyway. They were really wibbly wobbly. And the metal on its own at the moment seems, I've touched it now, it's not that strong. Hopefully it'll be strong enough to support the raspberries. We've got an ever-bearing variety, so we should be getting raspberries all year round. The unfortunate thing is we keep forgetting to water them in this corner of the garden, so we might have hindered their growth just a little bit, but they are starting to sprout considering we dug up just little sticks, maybe, that was about 2-3 months ago now. And in the afternoon, this becomes a really nice shady spot thanks to these trees. Although they're looking a bit precarious and there are a few broken branches, they are absolutely massive. So I think we're gonna have to take care of them at some point, somehow, maybe after the summer's finished. But they're hanging right over our trellis, which maybe we should have organised them before, but you know, it's fine. We will sort them out at some point and just hope that they don't fall down. I'm not actually sure if we even videoed any of this part. This little patch out at the way back of the garden is solely for sweet corn, but we're also going to do a method called the Three Sisters. So we've got squash in here as well, and we're also going to plant beans. Well, we probably should do that soon at some point. So the idea is the corn grows, the beans climb up the corn, and the squash is a nice ground cover to keep everything from drying out. As we know, well, we don't know because we've not grown anything here yet, but as we've heard, everything is gonna get really dry in the summer. Even now it's quite dry. The ground's gonna become like rock hard. So any form of mulch or companion planting, we are here for it. Back of the garden, we've got our fruit trees and Ada's stick playing spot. We had these few grow beds here, which we've decided not to do anything with this year because we don't wanna do too much. I may have accidentally put some courgettes in there because I planted a lot of courgettes, and I know even 4 plants is way too many for us, but they grew, so how could I deny them the opportunity to grow in the garden? So I've kind of chucked them in there, and if they grow, they grow. I was just going to take a video of one. I think Ada stood on it, so now he's dead. And here we've got our very homemade cucumber trellis, which just needs some netting in the middle. We've got cucumbers and loofahs. And in hindsight, these shouldn't really have gone at the back because we are south-facing. They might give a bit of shade to whatever's behind them. But I thought it's just potatoes, and potatoes are pretty cool with shade. So I didn't worry about it too much this year. Maybe next year, a bit more forward planning. Any spaces that I've got, I've filled them with either marigolds, zinnias, calendulas, chamomiles, literally any kind of flower seed that I've got, I've chucked it in there, and we've got a few things growing which should help pollinators, companion planting, etc, etc, etc. We've got tomatoes, 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 tomatoes. I also chucked some salad in here because they need the shade, but they've all died, but whatever. And the tomatoes seem to be doing okay at the moment. Basil, not so much. We did a very homemade drip irrigation station for this section. That's one of our next big projects. We need to try and figure out how we're gonna water everything without spending hours watering everything. Potatoes, potatoes. Freaking love potatoes. And we mulched them with the grass that we cut from the back. That was nice and dry. So I think we did that yesterday. I don't know if we filmed it or not, but they are mulched and I don't know if they need a huge amount of water. I don't know much about potatoes apart from I like them, so let's hope that they grow. Strawberries. Don't need to say any more about those, apart from the fact I thought I'd killed them all because you can't really let the roots dry out, otherwise it dies. That's why I've mulched them already. Maybe that's why they're called strawberries, I don't know. But if they dry out, they die. So we're going to keep them nice and moist. Got a few flowers going on. Not sure whether to pick them off or not because Dani's mum gave them to us. They're not like brand new strawberries, so I don't know what to do with them. Might just leave it. These are actually chickpeas. Looking pretty epic. Although Google tells us we're only going to get 100 grams of chickpeas out of this whole harvest. So I want to try and beat that estimate and hope that it was all worth it. Aubergines or eggplants or whatever you want to call them. Again, a bit of interplanting with marigolds and basil and the usual suspects. I didn't have enough marigolds to start with, so I've started like 200 more. Hopefully we can chuck more marigolds in here soon enough. Crazy onions, which are looking nice. Interplanted with lettuce and pak choi. Although you can see the pak choi is already gone to seed. Garlic, planted in November, I think. Loads of flowers. Can't remember what they're called. And that spinach went to seed again a long time ago, same as pak choi. But now I have chucked in beetroots, radishes, got one spinach out of all the packet I put in there. And behind the spinach is a bit of lettuce. And over to our raised beds. I just love looking at this little section. It feels complete until you look at the rest. It still hasn't got anything. And I've also got a bunch of tomatoes and peppers, which I didn't find homes for. And they're just sitting here on the patio, not really doing anything. I'm considering just chucking them in the garden, and if they survive, they survive. And if we get more tomatoes, even better. And I think that concludes the tour of the fruit and veg patch for now. We'll obviously keep you updated on how things are going. As you can tell, some things are going very nicely and some things are not. But what are you going to do? Can't be perfect every time. Dani's still digging in the barn, so maybe I should go and give him some help. Or some food, whichever one he would prefer. He's opted for food, so I'm going to go and do a fajita rice bowl.
We got these planter boxes from the junk shop, or what we call the junk shop, because every time we go in there we just buy some junk that we don't really need. But those we thought we needed, and those shelves that Joanna painted earlier, we're going to attach to the chicken coop, and we're going to have some hanging basket. Well, this is not really a hanging because it's going to be on the shelf, but we also have hanging baskets as well. I'm just poking some holes on the bottom for drainage, and we're going to fill it with some of the soil from the barn, and then we're going to put nice compost on top as well.
It was market day today. Check out all the goodies that we've got. Look at all these amazing colours. And to top it all off, we also got 2 of these lush hanging baskets. We're going to go and beautify the chickies coop with lots of hanging baskets, flowers and herbs. Definitely got a dahlia. I know what this one is. We planted 5 bulbs maybe 2 months ago, and 3 of them are coming, which is very exciting. But I thought we'd get a head start and buy another one. Then we've got lots of petunias, which I think are these ones. Some traily things, some orange things, some yellow things. I don't know what they're called. We did get 2 lavenders at a bargain price, and then in the same shop we also found some sage, which is a bonus. We've got these two all ready to hang. We've gone for two different themes, fire and love. Heavy.
Is it?
Like that.
No?
Thanks for watching. Okay, so let me feel a little bit better and let's hear your gardening fails. I've shown you mine. We love reading your comments. See you soon.